Alright guys, I'm back with another weekly manga review video for Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. And this is probably the last week of chapters until the middle of January. They usually take a break every year around New Year's. And it kind of sucks we have to wait so long for new chapters, but at the same time the authors usually leave off on a nice cliffhanger and give us some really great chapters when the manga resumes. So I'm really curious to see what they do with this when they come back. But starting with Naruto chapter 615, Unbreakable Bonds. Naruto is still in shock over Neji's death and what's happened, all this carnage, and Obito tells him to accept the fact he can't save his friends, to just give up since he's just going to end up being lonely. And Naruto's in shock at everything. I don't even think he's really listening. He's just looking at all these dead ninja who have just been taken out by the Jubi. And Hinata tells him to snap out of it pretty much, and that if he gives up on his principles now, then Neji died for nothing. And the Jubi is about to shoot this giant Biju Dama out of its mouth. And Killer Bee, the Eight Tails, has recharged its chakra, and he jumps up to stop it with his own Biju Dama, and he pushes it back inside the Jubi's body. And it explodes, and his stomach gets all fat. It was like a cartoon with Bugs Bunny or something, where they eat a stick of dynamite, and their body just kind of blows up, and then smoke comes out of their mouth. That's what it reminded me of. And then we see Hinata and Naruto holding hands, and Kurama is recharged. So now Naruto has all his chakra back, and he's getting ready to kick Obito's ass. And that's how the chapter ended. So I really like the way Kishimoto left this off, but I also like the fact that he finally did something with Hinata and Naruto, and even though it's just holding hands, and personally, I don't really care if they end up together. It doesn't bother me at all if they don't. But what does bother me is the fact that Hinata told Naruto how she felt about him, and he didn't respond, really. He didn't do anything. And if you're going to put it in the story, do something with it. So I'm glad he finally brought this back, but I really think he just brought it back for those fans who really care. But at least he did something. So I did like this week's chapter. On to Bleach 522, love it. Now this was probably my favorite chapter of the week because I really like this new character. Uetsu, he is awesome. So Ichigo and Renji, they arrive at the new palace, the Phoenix Palace of Namaya Uetsu. And he's this really flashy guy. His palace is full of women. And he makes Ichigo and Renji do this weird pose to him. And then his assistant shows up. She's trying to move things along. And she says that he just wants to have fun. And if it's just up to him, they'll be here all day. So she takes him to the real palace, which is this little shack on the edge of a cliff that Uetsu is embarrassed about. So he's ashamed that that's where he really lives. So he built this really flashy palace. And Ichigo and Renji walk in and they fall into this pitch black room, and he tells them that all the women in his palace are really Zanpakuto. And he picks up their swords and breaks them. And he says that swords that aren't loved break easily, and they should have been able to recognize the fact that those women were Zanpakuto. And he says you can feel the surrounding rage of the Zanpakuto. And we see these eyes show up in the darkness. And he says that if they can survive this and get out alive, he will reforge their swords. So I really like this chapter. I'm looking forward to seeing what Kubo does with this going forward, because now when the manga comes back, we have Ichigo and Renji stuck in this black room with the rage of the Zanpakuto and no weapons to defend themselves. So it should be pretty exciting. But yeah, this new character is great. So on to One Piece chapter 694, The Most Dangerous Man. The cover story is Karabo stealing from the old lady, stealing meat pies and jewelry or something. And Baby 5 and Buffalo are still fighting Frankie. Baby 5 rebuilds her body from when she turned into a missile. And Frankie tries to attack her. He's still in the fight. And she turns into a revolver and shoots him. And then we see Don Quixote thanking Virgo for all his hard work over the years. And something I noticed, not just in this chapter, but the past few chapters, Don Quixote seems to be really nice to his subordinates. Like the way he talks to him and stuff. He's not like some power-hungry guy who's just... I mean, even though he is trying to use them and they have to sacrifice their lives for him at times, he's still really nice with the way he talks to them, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Asking if they're okay and things. Which was kind of surprising to me. And then we see Momonosuke, who's freaking out about his dad. And there's an explosion in the lab, and the tunnel they're using to escape starts to cave in around them. It's not really a big deal. They're all so strong that this really means nothing. There's a rock that falls and blocks the exit, and Zoro just cuts it in half like it's nothing. And Monet gets ready to push the button, and she says that Don Quixote will become the Pirate King, but then Caesar stabs Smoker's heart, and Monet collapses. Law switched the hearts, so Caesar actually had Monet's the entire time. Smoker's fine, so when he stabs the heart, he kills Monet, basically saving everyone on the island. The last thing he wanted to do. And back at Dressrosa, we see Don Quixote is gone. His subordinates don't know where he is, and we see him flying to Punk Hazard. He's talking to Baby 5 and Buffalo. They're talking about how they're still fighting Frankie, and he says, "I'm on my way." And he's pissed. This was awesome. I mean, talk about a cliffhanger here. Just a great chapter all around. I still preferred Bleach. But yeah, this was an awesome chapter of One Piece this week. And now with Don Quixote entering the fight, I mean, who knows what's going to happen. Personally, I don't think he's going to fight the Straw Hats or anything like that. I think what's going to happen is Don Quixote is going to show up. He's going to take out Frankie. He's not going to kill him or anything, but he's going to take out Frankie, and he's going to leave with Baby 5, Buffalo, and Caesar. I don't think this is going to be where he just gets into a huge fight with the Straw Hat Pirates, especially since we know he has other subordinates who are still at Dressrosa. So I don't think this is the start of their big fight. I think he's just going to take out Frankie and leave. But it should still be really awesome. So I can't wait for Shonen Jump to return, and we get all three of these great mangas again. But some awesome chapters this week. So that's my review of this week's chapters. Hope you guys liked the video. Leave your thoughts on this week's chapters in the comments, and thanks for watching.